Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for our DIY today, so let's get into the DIY. So here we are at DIY number 1. This is a long DIY. It's going to be all 3 of these jars in this one DIY, but they go together. So that's why I put them all into one. So I got the first 2 jars I got at the Dollar Tree, and the third one, I believe I got it at the 99-cent store. It could have been the Dollar Tree. I buy stuff from all over the place, so sometimes it's hard to remember, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. This is white nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, and I just snipped off the end, and then you kind of have to add a little hot glue to keep it from fraying and coming undone. So I'm just doing that. Don't burn your fingers because, you know, my fingers are used to the burn, but if you're not used to the burn, be careful for the burn. So I'm just going to put a little hot glue onto the jar. So it doesn't really, hot glue doesn't really do that great on glass, but I just need it for this bottom row. And then as I go over and over and over again, I'm going to add the glue to the rope so that it has that to stick onto as well as the glass. So I'm just going to wrap this entire jar in the white nautical rope. So you can see there at the end there, it just like, sometimes it'll stick, sometimes it won't, I don't know. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I just fiddle with it until I can get it to work. So I was trying to get it to lay a certain way, and I've done it in the past, but today it wasn't going to do it. But, you know, it doesn't matter because that'll be the back of it anyways. And so if you're wondering what we're making pumpkins out of glass. And I just thought that using the pumpkins, the glass jars for the pumpkins, was really cool because you could put stuff inside of them as well. So you're not gonna be able to see through any of these jars because they're gonna be all coated. But how cute would it be to give it as a gift and you put like a gift card inside, or you know, some sweet treats or whatever, because the inside is gonna remain unpainted, so it'll be safe to put anything in there. You could do you know, anything like that. But I like the idea of the jars because I have a jar addiction. Every time I go to the Dollar Tree, I buy another jar. Like, I need another jar. But I can't help myself because then the thought will come later and they're not going to be there. So I always just pick them up as I see them, so that way I can have them when the inspiration strikes. So here I go. I fast forwarded for you so you didn't have to watch me painstakingly glue all that on there. So this is leather, like actual leather. So when I was in Arizona on vacation, I went to a little town called Oatman, and there's this, it's really cute. It's like the donkey town, like literally the donkeys are just chilling down the street and whatever. And I went into this one leather shop, and the man made moccasins and purses and all kinds of stuff out of real leather. And he sold the scraps for $2 for a gigantic bag. So I bought 2 because I was like, I can definitely make something with these scraps. I mean, they're not the biggest pieces in the world, but I was thinking I could make earrings. I could make leaves is what I'm making out of them right now, but there's just a bunch of different things. So I'm just using my little rotary blade, which I'm not really that good at that, but you get the point. So I'm making these into leaves. So they are real leather leaves. So I thought this was so cute. So it's almost like a modern farmhouse that this pumpkin's going to turn out to be. And I loved it. So now I'm taking a strip and I'm cutting it down to be even. And I don't remember why it is that I cut that first one to begin with, the big long one. I had some kind of idea in my head, but I end up only using the small one. And then you see there on the bottom corner that there is that buffalo check leaf that I got at the Hobby Lobby last year, but I don't end up using it. So I'm going to use the short leather to make the stem on my pumpkin. So I just kind of folded those little edges back so that they would be flat onto the metal top. And I just put a little dab of glue right there so that I could close those 2 pieces together. And then I'll put glue on the flat bottom and then stick that onto my jar. So then I'm just going to arrange my leaves however I think that they look cute. I mean, this is personal preference. Do what you want. Use something totally different, but I love leather. I am a leather junkie, and I always buy faux leather, so I was super excited to get these. So I'm just taking the third leaf that's going to go on that side, and I'm just going to pinch the bottom and make it almost look like a curled up leaf. Just to give it a little bit more dimension, because now we're talking two different textures so far, the rope and the leather and the metal and the glass. So that's 4 textures actually. So we got the metal top, the glass jar, the rope, and the leather. And then I wanted to just see how I just curled it right there. And then I'm just going to glue it right on just to give it a little bit of extra element. I love to add a little bit of height, a little bit of varying heights in my projects. So then I had another piece and I was like, where am I going to put this? Oh yes, perfect, on the other side. So that is what I end up doing for this little pumpkin. And I see I can even curl it just a little bit just to give a little zhuzh on that side too. I love how this came out. I ended up adding a little bit of raffia through the top just to give it a little bit more farmhousey look. So we went, I just tied it in a knot like in the middle of the piece and glued it to the top. I don't know what happened to the shot, but you get it. So that was that. So now we're going to get on to the next jar. I love these jars. So behind me where I'm sitting is a wall of shelves, and on my shelves I have tons of different stuff in those jars. Like, that's my favorite shape. I think they're so cute. So I'm just going to use the Pumpkin by Waverly, and I'm going to paint the outside of this jar. So one coat down, I'm going to put a second coat on, and this pumpkin was definitely a work in progress. So I was going to do all this different stuff to this thing, and that is fun about the creative process. You can change your mind halfway through a project and do something completely different. And sometimes I think, should I even put this in there? But this is real life, ladies and gentlemen, and I just want you to know that nobody is perfect. So if you're liking what you see, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you oh so much. I cannot thank you enough for all of you that have subscribed so far. So for my OG subscribers, my subscribers since the beginning, thank you so, so much. I appreciate you. And for my new subscribers, you're going to love hanging out with me. So this is just a piece of scrapbook paper that I had gotten from one of those bundles from the Dollar Tree. It's like a pack of random scraps of scrapbook paper. And this one has like texture in it. It almost looks like it has, I don't know, you could see it. It has, it's like there's something in it, like the fibers, you could see the fibers. So I really liked it. And originally I was going to leave it white, and then I actually ended up changing it coming around the corner here. So I just used hot glue. Normally I use a glue stick, but because this was on metal, I just thought hot glue might work better. And then my little sanding block just to file off the extra pieces around the edge. So I'm also going to sand the jar just to give it a little bit of roughen up. I do love the look of paint on a clear jar. I think it looks really cool. Because you could even put like a flameless candle inside of here, and you'd be able to like see through that if you just left it just like that. But of course I'm not going to leave it just like that, because I got to go a million steps further, because that's how I do it. So I'm going to use a little bit of black, the ink by Waverly, which is just their black, and I'm painting the outside of the silver ring on the lid. And then I'm going to also distress the outside of my pumpkin, my glass pumpkin. So you're probably wondering, like, what is those stickers doing there? When is she going to use them? Is she going to use them? So what happens is that I took the long skinny sticker and I used my rub-on transfers and did the word fall and stuck it to the front of my pumpkin, and then I didn't like it, so I ended up taking it out. So I don't actually show me doing that. You're gonna see it here, and then you're gonna see me take it off. So I'm just distressing the orange with the black, and I'm just going a little bit at a time until I like it. And then I'm going to go back over with some more orange to kind of smooth it all out. Because typically I like to add a little bit of color while it's still wet, but it dries really fast on the glass. And it was super hot this day, and even though my AC was roaring, it was still just, it was hot. It was hot. I live in the Central Valley of California, and it is hot here. Very, very hot. Okay, so there we are. I'm thinking I'm done. But I'm not. So there's the fall. So I did that. I thought it was cute at first, and then I decided to take it off. Don't mind my protein shake. It was time for me to eat. But I was so in a creative mood, I just was like not feeling leaving what I was doing. So I did use the black and white buffalo check there leaf there, and see how I bunch it? Because I just love that to give it that 3D look. So it's not just a flat piece on top of your project that you're working on. So that's just always something to use. You can always bunch it in a corner, just to give it a little bit of more of a realistic look when you're working on your projects. So I am now looking for my topper for this. So I need a stem, and I had picked up this from a yard sale, like a whole box full of these rando wood pieces. Like they had a woodworking thing, and they had like these round things that look like wheels. They had these, they have just weird stuff. But I was like, I could totally use this for something. So I've made legs out of them. I've made toppers for mason jars when I did a set for someone. And I think this came out really cute. So I love that little, I don't even know what you want to call that, a bobble for the top of that. So then I was like, well, I really want to cover up the top of that piece right there, but I didn't have any wooden beads that were big enough to fit on there. So you're going to see me fandangle this for a little while because I'm just figuring it out. Oh, you can see my babies running back and forth. So my little doggies are running back and forth. So I am using boxwood because, you know, I love boxwood. And I'm just going to add a little bit of greenery because I love that pop of how bright that orange is with that beautiful green. I absolutely love it. Guys, I love fall. I love everything fall. I love the colors. I love the feelings. I love the weather. I am a fall girl. My favorite season of the whole year. So add as little or as more as you want. It's totally up to you. I love my wooden half bead. So I thought I would use the half bead to cover up the top, and then I end up taking it off too. So you just see, it's just a work in progress. And the good thing is that most of the time, the stuff I don't do is permanent because sometimes I take it apart and make other things out of it. So that's why I use hot glue a lot. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you want something to be some way forever, I would use a stronger glue like Fix-All, Gorilla, or E6000. But if, you know, you might want to take something apart later, then hot glue is normally the thing. So I was just showing you the jar that literally I keep my half beads in the same jar. So this is just Antique Waverly wax, and I'm going to wax the top of the thing. So the white wasn't going with the whole look I was going for, so I decided that I was going to use some antique wax to go on the top. But again, I love the texture from this paper. So I'm so glad that I did put the paper down, and it has a really pretty texture, even with the wax on top. So this is Cashew by Waverly because, of course, you know, I wasn't done yet. I wasn't done yet. So I was going to tame it down just a little bit, and I love to use this color as a distressor. And I love that little squatty brush. I love that squatty brush. I found out about the squatty brush from Melissa at All Things Crafty, and I am so glad that I made that purchase because I love these things. Isn't she cute? I love it. It's so, so cute. So now we're on to the third one. So I'm going to remove the handle and the piece that goes around the neck of this jar. And this jar didn't have a lid, but it's actually perfect because we're going to make a floral arrangement out of this. So I'm going to do the full opposite of what I did with the last jar. So I'm going to do cashew on the bottom, all the way around 2 coats. And I love, look at all the detail in this little jar. It is so cute. I just love it. I love that established. That's actually how I end up facing it forward in the end, is that's the side that I pick to sit out. And I even painted the bottom of this one. Now I'm going to use the Pumpkin by Waverly to dry brush on the outside of this jar. So dry brushing is just, you're putting some paint on your brush, and then if I use my napkin to take off the excess and I just kind of wipe it over the top, it's just like a dusting of color, and then I build up from there, because you can always add more, but it's really hard to take it off. So I just put it in layers of what I like, and this is personal preference. Like I said, you can either do this part, not do this part, but it is super cute. I love it. Look at that little establish. I just think it's so cute. So I'm just going to dry brush all over with my pumpkin. I love this color. It is like the perfect fall color. So I'm going to add a little bit of antique wax to it. So the last one had black. We're doing the wax with this one. Just a little bit, just to give it a little another. And I'm also brushing in a different direction. So it's just kind of giving it multiple layers of, you know, just more dimension. More dimension. It gives it more of a textured look to it instead of just a flat paint. Super cute. Okay, so this is where the party starts. So I'm going to use the floral foam. I got my floral foam from Michaels because when I was ordering it, I could not find any at the Dollar Tree, so I ordered it from Michaels, and actually I got a better deal. So it was cheaper than buying the one from the Dollar Tree. So I have a bunch. So I'm just going to shove it in there. This stuff makes a big mess, and then you see that it's over the top of the jar. So I'm just going to kind of use my utility knife and just kind of take off a little bit of the excess. Okay, so don't mind the hot mess express that is in my background. That is my craft room. This is what it looks like. This is real life. This is real life because I am in there creating, doing all kinds of stuff, and nobody got time to constantly clean up after yourself. So I am using the hydrangeas with that beautiful burnt orange color. I'm using the eucalyptus right there on the bottom corner. And I had done like a whole set and then took it apart because I was like, no, I didn't like it. So I am going to add in this. I love this color of eucalyptus they came out with this year with the green with a little bit of yellow in it. It goes so good with that orange. And then I'm going to use the orange sunflowers. And when I stick the sunflowers in, I really do hit like an angle in the bottom. You'll see in just a second. Sometimes the little sticks don't want to stay, so all I did was add a little hot glue and stick it back in because I would hate for it to come popping off. I'd be sad if I lost it in my display because, you know, it's got to look pretty. So the flower arranging, I'm not a florist, so the flower arranging part is 100% personal preference. You do what you like, the colors you like. If you wanted to do a whole different color that, you know, whatever makes you happy. I was going to use cotton and I decided it wasn't going to work in there. So I just kept playing with it. So you're seeing like my pile of stuff that I was like, let's see, will this go good? Will this go good? You know, that kind of stuff. So I am shoving it into the bottom right there. And then I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So I'm going to do the sunflowers across the bottom, all four sides. I love Walmart florals. I mean, sorry, Dollar Tree florals. They are so pretty. Like nobody is going to know that I spent. So I think all the florals that I use was probably like $5. But when are you going to see a floral arrangement like this for $5? So I'm just going to cut off the eucalyptus and stick it where I feel like it needs to go. And then my little balls, I love those. They're so cute. And I searched and searched and searched for them. And so I knew that I needed to use them in several different projects. I think they're called flocking balls. So I'm showing you that you got to be careful where you stick your foliage because apparently my glue gun was on it and it made a hole. It melted right through there, but no harm, no foul. I just clipped off that little piece and used the rest. And that's the really nice thing about these florals is you can use them all in together, like not pulled off, but I think it's so much better when you take them off individually and you arrange them, you know, around. So then I wanted to add some boxwood, which this boxwood is from Walmart, just because I wanted a little bit deeper of a green in there. Something to break up all that orange, basically. So these are pieces that I had left over from something else I had done. So I didn't have the little sticks. But I've been using so many florals that I had plenty of sticks around. So all I did was stick it on a stick, clip it off, stick another one on a stick, clip it off, and there you go. So it's always good to know that if you take a whole thing apart and then later on you want to use it as something else, you could literally just stick another stick in there and go from there. So these are those, the foxtails with the feather. I put one in, I take it out, but I put another one in. But I definitely wanted another element of height, so that's why I end up sticking that in there. So I wish I would have done this step before because it was a little difficult, but I wrapped jute around the top neck of the bottle of the jar, and then I just simply tied a little bow. And that is it. That is all I did for this little floral arrangement. And it was so much fun to play with and figure out exactly how I liked it. I hope you guys liked these as much as I love them, and I'm so excited to have them all over my house.